2 of Battle Arena, hosted by the Trinity Force Network. If you want more information on this or other things, head over to trinityforcenetwork.com. If you want to sign up for Game 3 or do this next week or in the future, the Battle Arena tab, and you can click and head over to the sign up sheet. You also notice another sign up sheet right here. It's for a Bronze Boot Camp. Just head over and click the sign up sheet for this. It's for players Silver 5 and below, and it's Saturdays at noon Eastern Time. We host 3 games as well. But it's Silver 5 and below, so it's a safer place for people to play and learn without, I don't know, feeling outmatched. At lack of a better word, I'm trying to find the best way to say it. Also, download TeamSpeak. Check out the Trinity Force TeamSpeak. This is kind of what it looks like. But see a lot of people in here playing games, a lot of rooms to play games. Just, I mean, play League of Legends with other people. That's kind of what the game is made for. Yep. One other thing you guys should check out is the Trinity Force Reddit. On the Trinity Force Reddit, there's a link. The Trinity Force Frank t-shirt already sold 23. Pretty cool Frank the Tank t-shirt. Kind of a running joke on the podcast for a terrible item. But, I mean, it's a cool shirt. If you're interested, teespring.com/tforcefrank.
I believe the nickname was even used by Quickshot.
Yeah. Why can't they just call it Frank the Dank Tank?
I believe we can add that. If you're gonna ban Yi and Shyvana, I feel like Kale should be up there too.
Damn, why is this not showing? I hate Twitch, man.
Isn't that streaming right?
I hate OBS. OBS breaks every week. Alright, so you guys get to see my desktop for this game. So, bans, a little awkward.
Yeah.
Not really sure about Mass G, Hecarim, Fizz, or Riven, or Choke. I see one reasonable ban here. Maybe it's a little different in Silver and Gold and whatever the people banning are, but I guess I see occasional Fizz ban. And a patch or two ago, I would see Hecarim.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're gonna ban Mastery, you could just ban Kayle instead. But
I don't think the only Devourer jungle I'm scared of is fucking Shyvana.
Shyvana, yeah.
Shyvana's in ban. Shyvana and Elise are in ban prison.
They are.
Elise is in she's not in ban prison. She's in maximum security, 100% ban rate ban prison.
Okay, so it wasn't a first pick set. He knew he was going up against Orianna, so he must be comfortable with it.
Battling. What is this?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't trust anything he links. Nidalee. You say Nidalee's in ban prison?
No, it's a picture of Nidalee photoshopped with my legs.
Oh.
Interesting. Wrecked. Wrecked indeed, Stalker. Alright, so we might have bot lanes in a second and we can talk about that. So we can talk about bot and mid while we're kind of waiting for stuff. Orianna versus Zed. Orianna has seen a lot of shurikens to lose this lane early, and Orianna has to fall behind in CS or items a lot and or get ganked to lose this lane at 6.
Yeah.
But I mean the ball is in Orianna's court, no puns intended. But in most Orianna lanes, the Orianna player always has the potential to go even or outplay. She's a really strong champion and pretty versatile. Interesting comp too. Couple shields. I don't know. I feel like they could have a little more damage. If Orianna falls behind mid game, they're kind of behind in damage. But a tank wouldn't be bad too.
Oh.
Please don't pick Darius.
Oh.
Don't play Darius and Dr. Mundo, man. Especially now that Mundo has a good armor item he can rush. Alright. As far as bot lane is concerned, what are your thoughts on Kate Morg against Jinx Braum?
Tristana Braum. I kinda like Tristana Braum, to tell the truth. They synergize a bit better. The attack speed that especially if she runs some attack speed blues, she can really apply the passive stacks onto whoever the target is very quickly, and it's really hard to use Morgana Black Shield against Braum. I feel like the only thing you can really reliably stop is his knockup from his ultimate, but
does it not stop Braum's Q or his passive?
It does stop his Q, but the Q is a little fast. I feel like. I mean, if you have really good reflexes, you can react to it, or if you just are, if he's obvious about it. But I don't know if you see that somebody's up to 4 stacks and you throw a Black Shield on him, they can just switch to another target if he has Q up.
Yeah, no.
I'm a big fan of Braum, to tell the truth, but I'm probably a little biased, and my 22% win rate on Morgana in ranked isn't influencing this at all.
I think Morgana's seen a couple nerfs and she isn't as strong as she once was. Personally, I'm not a huge Braum fan because I don't like supports that don't win lane. Yeah. Braum doesn't lose a lot of lanes hard, but like sometimes you just kind of have to bite the bullet for a bit when you pick Braum. He's really, really good late game. But in lane, I mean, if Mork hits binds on Trist, it's GG. If Mork hits binds on Braum, it's still decent because the Caitlyn can kind of just 2v1 at that point. Yeah. But as long as like Kate 2v1s and Mork offers some support damage and some binds, and like doesn't forget to auto attack in 2v2s, it's a good lane.
I just don't think Kate's gonna be able to apply the pressure and damage output in the early levels to really make it work. But
so here's how you play this lane from Kate perspective. You auto attack them both. If they start to go in for a trade, one, you don't want to hit by Braum Q, and your Mork probably shouldn't be letting you get hit by Braum Q.
Yeah.
If you do get hit by Braum Q, you disengage, but we're gonna assume that she doesn't. You trade with Trist. Trist is like 1 or 2 auto attacks. To trade with you at all, and most of the time it's free trade. But if Trist trades back, she's going to want to stack her E. Yeah. You auto her once, and you just EQ her. So you don't let her stack E, and you end the trade. And like, really, if you continue to do that and just poke, it's really hard to lose this lane as Caitlyn.
Yeah.
But Kate is my go-to AD carry, and like the only AD carry I can comfortably say I'm a good player on. So I know most matchups on Kate. Just really have to watch ganks in this matchup, though. If you lose summoners and Braum and Trist at 6, it can be difficult.
Very much. Yeah, it's the gank pressure. Both junglers can provide. They can be bot lane really early on, both of them. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what paths they choose. They could easily affect bot lane, but
yeah. Top lane, Darius doesn't have Ignite, so he probably isn't going to kill Mundo. Interesting note that I'll make here: if I was playing Rek'Sai, I would try to pressure the Mundo before he hits 6. A lot of times, one of the reasons Mundo doesn't get played as much as he does right now is a lot of times you lose a lot of your health and you get pushed in the tower. And you're kind of sitting there with really low health and they don't have a good way to finish you or dive you. But if the other jungler comes and dives Mundo, or if the jungler comes and dives Mundo, a lot of times he just dies. So I don't know. Like, if you don't punish Mundo before he hits 6, you're kind of in for a bad game.
Alright, so we're about to load up into the second game here. We kind of know what you guys think, which team you think is going to win.
Ooh, let me take my bets.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick the team that doesn't have Darius because I hate those type of champions. But
alright.
I probably shouldn't be on that podcast. I'm really biased against Darius and Garen.
Well, the rework will change how they are played.
It makes it even more cancer. They're taking away their attack speed per level and just making them like even more brainless and more mongrelly.
Alright, so you got Team Diet Coke, I guess, with Tristana, Braum, Elise, Mundo, Zed, and Team Coke Zero's the Caitlyn, Orianna, Morgana, Rek'Sai, Darius. Alright. Yeah, let us know what you guys think and why you think so. And don't just say one team or the other. But
no, I changed my mind. I'm picking a team with Kate.
Alright, I'm happy to pick El Tigre Braum any day.
Alright.
Coke Zero.
I don't think Zed's an effective pick unless you're good at Zed. I'm picking that other team just because I don't think that Zed's going to do a ton. And Elise is also a pretty weak champion if you don't pressure early game. They have two champions with kind of like narrow power windows that rely on always being... Like, Zed is really strong, But if you play Zed, you kind of always want to be ahead. And Elise is strong, but if you play Elise, you kind of always want to be ahead. And I don't know. I'm not that confident that it's going to happen. Nothing to like say about these players personally. It's just not reliable.
Yeah. Also, I wouldn't be surprised to see Brahm's team going for an early invade. Braum and Elise have pretty strong. I mean, it wouldn't be the best for Elise to start her stun. But also, if Mundo happens to join them that constant slow, I feel like their level 1's really, really strong.
So he's going to Q a lot and miss CS to push Mundo to farm. Why would Darius miss CS if he Q'd a lot? I don't know. I don't understand your statement, Twitch chat.
Got too many easy champs.
I
don't think either of us think
Kate and Orianna are really hard.
Champ. Yeah.
Kate's easy to play bad and not die and not do damage. But I don't know.
But easy isn't the game.
So I'd like to see the new item on Darius. I actually think Darius might be hard to deal with the new item.
Yeah, it's. I'm a little disappointed that we're not getting Dunk Master Darius. I feel if you play him, you have to have that skin.
It's okay. His base skin's actually okay. Some of the base skins in this game are pretty bad. Oh wow, this loading screen is taking so long.
Yeah. I mean, I would be mad at Zed, but he's rocking the 2014 Curse logo.
Bob Darius will Q into minion waves and try and trade and cause his lane to push and usually misses CS. Well, you can't just say something like that. I don't know. Like, it may happen in your games, but I'm not just going to say that this Darius is going to miss all of his CS because he's using an ability that shouldn't cause him to miss. I don't know.
We'll see.
No, there are very few skills in this game that actually cause you to CS, and I'm not going to acknowledge that a player is missing CS because of a skill, because they shouldn't be. I don't know. Like, it sounds kind of elitist when I say it like that, but hey, if you're missing CS because of Q on Darius, then you probably just need to go into a custom and practice CS because you have much bigger problems than anything I can tell you.
Alright, here we go. Load it up into game.
TLDR, last string is more important than like 90% of what I'm going to tell you. I mean, not that what we're saying here isn't important, but if... I don't know. If he's missing CS because he's queuing, then... Alright, let's check out stream. And I'll leave the overlay off again. It looks like we had some issues with it last game, so...
Yeah,
also, we will go through post-game review for this pretty quickly. I didn't expect the loading screen and stuff to take as long as it did. And 4 wards is at 9:30. So kind of a heads up for people after the game. And hopefully this isn't a 60-minute game. If it looks like it's going long, at about probably 40 minutes, when there's a lull in the action, we'll switch over to T-Force 2. But I'll give you guys a heads up before that happens, if it actually does happen. So, looking at runes, one of the more important things we point out is it's just generally important not to take a skill at level 1. You never know what's going to happen at level 1. Elise doesn't know if she's going to need to take her cocoon at level 1. The Morgana doesn't know if she's going to need to black shield somebody who gets jumped on and stuff like that. So, just really, that's one of the biggest things I see in most of the replays I'm reviewing for Patreon. You have no reason to. And like when you're jungling too, let's say you hit level 3 on Wolves, you don't want to like take your third skill until you actually hit race. Because you don't know if somebody's going to be in this bush. And you might need to skill something else. So just small things like that. And I mean, it won't happen every game, but once in a while it will make the difference. Kate doesn't have armor runes, or doesn't have a lot of them. That is pretty bad. I'm assuming she's running Mana Origin Yellows, which is not a good Kate page.
No, not really.
Darius is also going Doran Shield into Mundo. It's okay if you just want to farm because it does block damage from his cleaver and his auto attacks, but I might go something more aggressive against Dr. Mundo to punish.
I would have also liked if Darius hadn't just rained a tower right away. Yes. I would like them to like throw a ward on one of the jungle entrances or hang out there. But oh well, nothing bad happened. No invades.
So this Elise starts bad for 3 reasons. 1, you don't get a leash with your bot lane. 2, Mundo can now get pushed in and lose level 2. 3, Mundo can't do camp start now. Camp start is really strong on Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo with Doran Shield 4 pot or Doran Shield 5 pot. Really hard to deal with. He does well with camp start because of his burning agony. Or you can even take E to do camp start if you do golems. Take Q to do camp start. Like, Mundo can do any camp start he wants. He can do Q and start Gromp. That's what I do. When I played Mundo top, I would do camp start with Smite, and I would take the Gromp so I could get poison armor for lane. Alright. So Darius is pushing Mundo in. Not the worst. He should really be looking to hit Mundo every time he Qs though. If you're Darius, you should always be looking to Q the other person. 2 reasons. You'll kind of run out of harass if you go out of mana Qing the creeps. And you always want to have at least enough mana for a few skills in case a gank or a 2v2 happens. The other reason, as soon as you Q, you lose a lot of pressure to harass because they know they can walk up and like free farm. This is good by Orianna freezing in front of her tower.
Yeah, she's being a little bit more reactive in lane, but she's punishing Zed when he gets too far forward.
Wow, that's Orianna. That's a really good play. Bomb. Who is this? So well, good gank by Elise. So if we kind of look at how that transpired, Elise started her blue buff, and then she went all the way around. This is okay because it avoids ward. I honestly think she could have just gone through river, but once again, it's okay. It happened because Darius just pushed, and Darius didn't accomplish anything by pushing. He didn't get CS. He just queued the wave over and over again and died.
He didn't push it hard enough for Mundo to lose CS under tower, and I don't know if he had a trinket ward available. No, it was on cooldown. It was already used.
So on Mundo 2, you can tower CS pretty easily. If you're struggling to tower CS on Mundo, your Q does a lot of damage. So like on melees, you can let it hit twice in Q. And let's say if it's at 3/4 and it's really awkward to hit, pop QE. Let's say the tower hits it once and it's at 200 health. If you hit it with E and then you Q it, it'll die. Like, Mundo's one of those champions you should hit 100% of your tower CS because he's 3 abilities that are really good at like tower CSing. Like if you barely need health, you can pop W. If you need a little bit of health, you can use E on a couple of creeps. Your Q refunds mana, and that makes it easier. If you need a ton, you can use all 3.
Braum needs to be more of a force in lane, even if he's taking free harass from Caitlyn, but he's just letting Caitlyn hit just on him for no punishment whatsoever.
K2, when you've headshot, you don't need to use it as soon as you can get it. A lot of times you can stand on top of the wave and just zone with headshot, and either do something with the wave, or like just deny for another 5 seconds. Just kind of what I talked about at freezing it earlier. When you've headshot, you shouldn't be last hitting until this creep is like really low. Like, that's not bad. Morgana, once again, you don't want to go for that bind unless it's 100% bind. Now you lose threat of bind in pool, and you're kind of out of mana if something does happen.
Looks like Elise is about to head.
MIO, you want to try and outscale Mundo with Nasus or Sion. Mundo outscales Nasus.
Whoa, that flash binding.
Rip.
Wow.
Good Elise
Not
gank.
flash binding, but flash cocoon. Yeah, like, that was weird. Orianna had successfully defended the all-in from Zed pretty well. Like, she did everything right, and then she went back right when Elise flashed out of vision. Tough.
So is Rek'Sai, as soon as that Zed flashes there, you should flash on top of him and just kill him with Q. I don't know. He might be respecting Zed's ult because he doesn't know if he used it or not. But either the Orianna should be communicating whether Zed has R or summoners, because she should be typing that in chat.
So
or the Rek'Sai should have paid attention.
Top lane, Mundo did get 6.
So Mundo, follow up on that.
Yeah.
Try and make sure as soon as you go for Flash Cleaver, you're going to hit Flash Cleaver as well. So, Kate, you just be here. You have BF Sword. The biggest thing you want to look for is if your support goes Sightstone, you get Blue Trinket. If your support doesn't go Sightstone, you sit on yellow. Mondo, like, you really shouldn't be missing any CS here. If the CS is really low and you can't get it, get used to the timing on your W proc. Ooh.
Just just push the wave up into tower, which is great, but she's staying around, and because she's not, I guess she would have went back earlier to grab a pickaxe.
That's a fun play.
Oh, now she's back in. Okay, yeah.
She has 2 good buys here. She could either go Boots Longsword or she could go 2 Longsword, 1 pot. I like both. It depends on the champ. I would go Boots Longsword just to have extra. Whoa! Alright, that is not an okay buy. Alright, she redid it. Nope, she didn't. Alright.
Oh yeah, no, that is no bueno. That's not gonna help out in lane at all. Yeah.
Not bad to give your mid laner Flash. Personally, if my mid laner is 0-1 and they didn't have blue. If my mid laner is 0-1 and they didn't have Flash, I probably wouldn't give blue.
Braum went really deep here for this ward, and he's and his actions are gonna get. And he's gonna die because of it. Oh, and that leads directly into Dragon. All right.
So, Braum, going for deep wards is okay, but you kind of just want to pay attention to where people are on the map first. Mundo, I really don't know about this TP. Yeah. RIP, buddy. So, like, when you get a dragon, try not to lose more than just the dragon. You guys are about to lose a lot because of that play. You really have to respect when you play against shield champions getting baited by shields. And you really can't be greedy and go for those like 10 health plays when you're playing Orianna Morg. Because a lot of times they will get away. His attack speed good on Zed, I think flat AD would be better. It depends. Like on runes you go flat AD and or armor pen. As far as build goes, like the only attack speed item you buy on Zed is Bork.
Yeah.
And the only reason you get Bork is for the passive and to fit more autos in. That being said, like one of the things that separates decent Zeds from really good Zeds is how many auto attacks they get in during ultimates and trades. So, like it's not a worthless stat to have, but flat AD and armor pen are generally better.
Yeah, Team Diet Coke came out pretty far ahead in that whole series of events.
Alright, so Zed is attack speed runes. Once again, I would just recommend flat AD or armor pen. Wonder how he's getting 50 MR too. I didn't think Zed would get MR per level. So Zed is shoving in. This is fun.
I kinda like Darius first buying Brutalizer here.
It's okay if he actually wants to beat Mundo. If he wants to keep queuing Mundo into tower, no. So there actually is an argument you can make at this point in the game for him to continue to queue Mundo into tower when teleports are up, so he always has TP priority on Mundo. And he can cancel Mundo's TP with pull, and Mundo can't cancel his TP. But you need to have good wards to do that, and you need to like know when teleports are up. He has 9.4 flat MR. Alright.
He has 5 health pots too. He needs to be used them. 5? Am I reading that right? Yeah, he has 5. You need pop one now. Pop it. Pop it. Please.
So Mondo is really hard to deal with at 6, but like most of the nerfs to Mondo dealt with the early ranks of his ultimate. His ult probably gives him about 30% at 6. What is it? 40% at max health. So it's quite a bit, but not as much. You really want to bully Mondo before he hits 11. Once he hits 11 and he has a finished item, you really can't kill him anymore. So, like, the biggest thing this Darius needs to do is just have a goal in lane. He can't just, like, walk in and keep clearing the wave with Q.
Yeah.
If you get Longsword's AD carry because of bad back timing, do you just hold it until Last Whisper or you commit to Brutalizer? It depends what champion you're playing. If you're playing Lucian or Graves and you get a crazy lead, Ghostblade isn't terrible. But most of the time, just sit on it. You can get up to 2 Longswords and AD carry because one goes into BT and one goes into Last Whisper. Personally, on Graves and Kate, I'm not afraid to get those early longswords just because I want to abuse early power spikes as hard as I can. But on other champions, I'm a little more cautious, and I often just go with the boots.
I feel like Braum needs to be positioned a bit closer to Tristana. His wall can be a really effective tool in blocking a lot of Kate's damage. But I realize that, you know, they aren't focusing him when Tristana's in the lane with him, but he can help alleviate some of that focus on her if he's a little more aggressive and trying to trade a bit.
And like one of the big things you guys notice right now is Kate has a 24 CS lead on Tristana. If you watch my CSN guide, you'd know that roughly 15 to 18 CS is worth the kill. And Tristana's also losing a lot of EXP here. And that makes it seem really good. She has almost 30 now, so that's almost 2 kills on Tristana. Just in CS, and then the kills that she already has. What's missing here is that it's 14 minutes and Kate only has 107. If Kate had like really good CS right now and she had about 130, she'd be at 4 kills on Tristan, just CS. So, like, it's one of those things where, like, just because you're beating your opponents in ranked game in CS doesn't mean your CS is actually good. And like, if you can CS really, really, really well, you end up in those situations where you can like die from a gank and still be 2 kills up ahead in gold. It's the first time thing or a new schedule for Bronze Bootcamp. Paces, this is Battle Arena. This is for players Gold 1 and below, and it's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have 3 games. Similar to Battle Arena, Bronze Bootcamp, but it is the regular schedule.
Here.
So Darius is going Sunfire. Sunfire is not a good item on Darius.
No, not really. Oh.
So that's actually really good by Zed getting his Bilgewater active off.
One more auto.
Wow. That was not good because he should have gotten an extra auto attack off there.
Yeah.
I think he was ranging his shadow, so he's trying to be careful there.
Yeah, trying to steal that blue was a pretty good. Ooh. Was a pretty decent move because Orianna does not have a.
Ooh, Morgana, please. So we're kind of seeing an issue where Orianna's having some like mana difficulties and CDR difficulties. The Hourglass Rush is good at shutting down Zed. In my opinion, it's a play to not lose build instead of a play to win build. I think even if you're playing Zed,
Armguard isn't bad.
Yeah.
But
you can go Armguard Morellos here. You can go tier Morellos, or you can go just regular Morellos. Oh, thank you, After the God. That's great to hear. I enjoyed playing with you better. I enjoyed playing with you in the tournament as well. Hopefully we get our triumphant rise.
Dang.
What's better, you and your lane opponent both having 150 CS at 15, or you having 110 and your lane opponent having 80? It shouldn't cost you 40 CS to deny your lane opponent that hard. I mean, The 110 to 80 is better, but like a more realistic would be like 130 or 140 to 80. Because I can say like reasonably missing 10% of your CS is fine to harass. But when you're at 110, you're only hitting 70% of your CS. And I don't think missing 30% of your CS for harass is a very reasonable. I mean, if you're missing 30% of your CS to harass, you're not missing 30% to harass. You're missing 10% to harass, and you're missing 20% because you're just missing CS.
Oh man, that binding into
But a discrepancy is better than a total.
Oh, at least
So
turn that around real quick.
Rex had ultimate. I really think he could have reacted to that, and I also think he just kind of needs better tunnels around the dragon. When you're playing Rec, you know that most of the action on the map is going to take place towards dragon, especially when you have a Mundo Darius line top, and you really need your wards set up to kind of gank that. Kind of go into why Sunfire is bad on Darius. Let's see. It does magic damage, and Darius doesn't have any magic penetration. It's really expensive and doesn't give a lot of tankiness. I don't know. Mostly those. Mostly it's just gold inefficient for the slot. That's why most items in this game are good or bad, though. Whether they're gold inefficient for the slot.
I would at least like to see a cowl instead early on from him.
Mm-hmm. Missing 10% to deny is really good. It is really good, but hitting 150 CS at 15 minutes is also really good. So you were kind of comparing apples to oranges. 150 CS at 15 means you missed like 10. 5 if you recalled. At a bad time. So, I mean, if you're going to compare one thing to really good, you need to compare it to something else that's also really good. Rek'Sai, you need to react to that a little earlier. I know Orianna has Hourglass, but also get your knock up. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I'll be right back.
Alright. Things are kind of moving slow across the map in this game. The gold lead's pretty even. Kate and Morgana have their tower down, and they're choosing to roam here, which is a pretty good idea, considering... Oh, what a teleport. Wow.
So Morg, you need to hold Q for after dealies. That's good. Kate actually tried to do combo there.
Oh, wow, the combo. Nice, Trist. That was very good.
Dog may start barking.
Rom, you need to get your passive onto more people. There we go. Ooh.
What was Ori doing during that fight?
I don't know.
Because she had Shockwave towards the end there. Could have been really good.
She was away. I think she was buying.
Okay.
She'd back to base before that all started.
So if Ori's in base, maybe like don't go for that pick after Elise.
It was a really aggressive pick. Like Darius teleported down for it, and I understand that Elise is a bit of a high priority.
Mm-hmm. All that comes to Vision too, and the fact that they got flanked. If you look at Red Team's wards in this fight, they have this, but they really don't have much else. And if you have that many people me on the map, you kind of need to be cognizant of what's going on.
Both Trist and Mundo there made pretty poor positioning mistakes. It just took a weird way back to her turret and cost her her life.
The biggest thing I saw is Kate tried to like be fancy and use combo to kill Elise, her net Q combo, when she could have just Q'd and killed or autoed and killed. And if she had net for that Tristana, that fight would have been a lot different.
Probably.
So, like, don't use skills you don't have to use. Morga's pretty good items at this point. I think you max Pool last and Spell Shield second on Morgana though. So maybe do that in the future. See what the other skill maxes are. On Mondo, I'd max W second here. The reasoning behind that is E doesn't do a ton on Dr. Mondo, and maxing W second lets you clear waves faster, lets you do more AOD damage, and it also increases your tenacity. And you're playing against a team with a lot of hard CC.
Yeah.
Or Morgana bind. Darius. Click to the edge and click halfway through. See a lot of fail flashes on wall. I don't think it's a mechanical mistake unless you actually click to the edge. I think once you've clicked to the edge and then you miss, it's a mechanical mistake. But I think if you don't click to the edge, it's you not knowing to click to the edge or forgetting.
A lot of pings going on top lane. Alright.
Cranberry lemonade, it's so good. So Elise, same thing last game. When you're jungling, you generally should be buying boots.
Alright, let's see here.
Does sweet tea vodka lemonade sound a bit delicious?
It is the most delicious thing I've ever had in my life.
I don't like sweet tea that much. It's too sweet.
Ah.
I drink a lot of green tea though.
You are a northern man, so you wouldn't like the down south tastes, I guess.
Nothing I eat really has sugar in it.
Alright, so both teams are positioning around Dragon here. What does Red Team need to do here? Can they contest? Do they need a... I feel like Rek'Sai needs to be at the forefront here. And why is he going in now?
So, one, I think you're a little bit behind. Two,
yeah.
The Darius' top lane right here, he needs to be pinging like the crap out of his team to get back. And his team needs to be pinging like him to get there before the fight. And his team, like if they see him top, they just need to get that dragon up.
Yeah. Well, also, if you're gonna contest, you can't charge in after Dragon. You can't take an unfair fight after Dragon has.
Darius, stop typing. Stop typing. Alright, so when somebody stops so long, that means they're typing. Like, one, don't be toxic. Two, he might not be toxic, but we'll talk about whether I think this is a misplay or not, or if it was Darius' team's fault. So the big thing that sticks out to me there is that Mundo teleported back, which means that the play was so premeditated that Mundo had time to walk down there. So like Darius really doesn't have any excuse not to be there if that's the case. Anything with vodka sounds good right now. I like vodka and orange juice, or Diet Coke and tequila.
Tequila and orange juice is better, but
tequila and anything's pretty good.
Pretty delicious.
Ooh, vodka and the what's the man drink that? Oh fuck, Dr. Pepper 10.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good.
All right.
That makes your heart leap though.
Yeah, that's a good mixture.
It's got quite a bit of caffeine. But caffeine and vodka's never gone bad before.
Yeah, especially if you mix it with 4 Loco and vodka.
Alright, so the Kate and Morg are pushing in, looking at vision. The blue team has okay vision. They have a lot of defensive pink wards towards top, which is kind of confusing. I do like that they're buying pinks, but I think like pinking out Darius Mundo lane's kind of whatever. This game's basically played on like this part of the map. Even Mundo and Darius, they really haven't solo killed each other much besides that like initial gank. This map is being played down here, and the wards kind of need to be done here.
Darius does have teleport, so he should be able to keep pressuring top lane here.
Mm-hmm.
He should be able to take that turret, to tell the truth. There's no objective that blue team can take their group, like where they are. I don't know what they can take. They have to spend some time pushing the waves out before they can pressure anything too valuable.
Gin and lemonade's good too. Alright, that's a really good box shield. That was not a good face tank.
Wow.
So Morg, you really need to be... Oh, you don't have a ward, rip.
Alright, so Darius took that, he's gonna back. I wouldn't be surprised to see red team initiate a fight here once he's back with him, but...
And if I was Morg, I'd be looking at Lock at this game. I know a lot of Morgs want Hourglass to engage. you have Darius and Rek'Sai to engage, you're probably going to be more of a peel bot this game, using your binding on people that dive the Kate and the Orianna and getting black shields down.
Might be a legit option too in this case, but they're just letting Baron be taken for free at this point.
I like Locket. Mundo's mostly magic damage, especially with Sunfire. Elise is magic. Zed's R is magic. Braum is magic. Just some spells. So, good dragon out of blue, and once again, really good vision control out of blue team.
Yeah, the Coke Zero team is coming out ahead after a slow start. Like, for how much of a lead Caitlyn had in the bot lane, that's really gone away.
Yes.
Almost completely now. She wasn't able to exert pressure, I feel like.
They're struggling. Top lane priority is a pretty big issue for them, and Darius just needs to be effective in these team fights. Pretty big note, he just bought pickaxe and longsword. When you have 3 deaths, dropping over 1,000 gold into flat AD is probably not what you want to be doing as Darius. You still have Kate, Orianna, just, I mean, get tanky. If you want to do damage here, like, for the same amount as pickaxe, longsword, you could go Hex Drinker. And if you want to go tanky, you just get Cowl.
Yeah.
Screwdriver plus Mango. Oh, I love Mango. That's what I do for my vodka and orange juice. I do the Simply Orange with Mango. That shit's good.
Alright, so it looks like
we're gonna bind him. Alright. That was so bad. No, I'm sorry, Zed. I shouldn't be laughing at you, but you popped Ghostblade and ran at her under a tower.
Yeah, that was very aggressive, to say the least.
That was like an angst play. I was like, this Kate needs to die.
That's throwing away the advantage you have. You don't have to force... When you have Baron buff and minions and you're pushing, you don't really have to force anything. You can just push one lane, rotate to the next as you're all pushing together and take easy towers. They should give up those towers. You don't have to dive to get things done.
That was a good attempt on the flash pull, or a good idea. Just does have jump though. You should be thinking about what target you're going for in these fights. Elise is actually not a bad target here. And the Tristan Zed are also okay targets. Their team's actually pretty slippery. Darius is going to be a damage choke more than anything. Yeah, Wales, he's 16. Stop telling him to drink and get laid. Don't worry. I remember when I was playing WoW in high school, and the people I was playing with would talk about alcoholic drinks. You'll get there someday.
Oh, there's
okay, just keep auto-attacking.
Tristan's just gonna be able to sit back and unload. Oh.
But blue team's just rolling them.
Going Maple Street up in here on that Tristana. And that's another pretty big win for blue team.
Yeah, that was a good fight for blue. The red team's really struggling to like effectively do things in team fights. Orianna really needs to like attempt to zone with ball more. When I see a fight like this and Orianna's not zoning corridor with ball, that kind of stands out to me as being like a pretty big issue. The Kate really needs to auto attack more, and the Darius is just getting screwed for his build, man.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, he's putting all his eggs in a split pushing basket, but I don't think he can. Can he 1v1 Mundo?
No. Alright, well. Fuck, I don't know why that's so funny. Alright, so, big thing out of blue team when you're recalling at this point in the game is making sure you don't recall on wards. So like out of Tristana, it's a little more correct to kind of walk back here and recall. This isn't bad out of Mundo. But like if they don't know whether you're recalling or not, but they're pretty sure, that you kind of have to make educated guesses. Whereas if they see you recall, they're no longer making a guess. Yeah. They know you're AFK for 30 seconds.
Alright, well, red team has definitely improved one thing, is as their defensive boards, they got them everywhere on the map.
Number one TSM hater, Shots of Grey Goose isn't for poor people, it's for 16-year-old girls. Grey Goose is Grey Goose is a girl's drink.
Yeah. It's for their skinny martinis.
But
blue team needs to be careful here, they don't have just Donna.
Whoa.
Alright. She's
Red team needs to take this. This is the biggest issue. Kate needs to stop using net for her ass. If she gets jumped and net's on cooldown, she's in a really bad spot.
Here, Baron's up in a minute and a half.
So, pretty poor positioning out of Rek'Sai. The red team has significantly more vision too. I think that was just him not using his vision properly.
Ooh.
And we talk a lot about warding
Very good.
in Battle Arena, but if you don't do anything with your wards, they're not that strong. Rip.
Yeah.
Just hit 3 items pretty fast too.
Yeah, she came back in this game pretty hard. She's done a really good job of being at that range where you can constantly be autoing yet at a safe distance. Her positioning team fights has been very spot on. A lot of times you'll see people who either go all in too hard or stay so safe that they don't affect the fight at all, or can't decide between the two and just end up running back and forth without autoing. They probably shouldn't be trying to end here though. They probably should have backed a while ago. They're gonna get away with it though. Good news for red team though, Baron is up right now, and I think they might have an opportunity here to take it. Was Mundo doing it?
Good Orianna ult. Kate, please stop netting randomly.
Yeah, it's putting her out of auto range. It's decreasing. I think we always try to discourage Kate's from using her abilities in team fights unless it's to reposition with her net. But your autos are doing a lot more damage in your queue right now. They should probably be rushing. Maybe they can't take Baron. Without Rek'Sai or Darius to tank it up. Oh,
yeah, you need to be really careful when you're recalling here. Just drop wards when you're walking out. And you can even sweep just to see if there are wards, but not take the time to kill them. Just to know like whether you're actually running over them and recalling on them or not. I'm also going to have to go with Whale for the argument in chat. I don't think I've done anything besides tequila shots in a while. I think tequila is definitely the drink of choice. Everything else is B tier.
Alright, so both teams know that the current objective right now is Baron.
2 dragons to 2. Dragons have been 45 and Baron's up. So red team has 2 options here. They can posture and then like they could trade dragon for Baron if they really don't want to fight. Look. So she didn't get punished that hard there. She could have got punished harder. Once again, like, stop netting to net. Also, Kate went BT. They have so much armor. You need to do damage.
And I understand she probably got it because she saw Mundo with that Thornmail. But it's looking like a Last Whisper, Blade of the Rune King type of game almost.
Whoa, Kate just let herself get killed by Chest.
I can't even tell what's going on in this team fight.
Nah. We get to see
know that
late
Triss
game
got
Mundo.
a little trigger happy jumping into the middle of the entire team though.
Late game Mundo, man. The Thornmail. This is so toxic. Oh. Cleaver.
Oh my goodness.
You can do it. Get Darius too. Wow. Alright.
Wow. Raid boss.
So, really good job by the red team. That's a good contest. And the Darius did a good job of getting some effective ultimates off. In all honesty, I don't think itemization plays as big as a role as we talk about sometimes. Oftentimes, items are pretty close when we're talking about what's the best item. In this game, itemization is playing a pretty big role. The Darius not being effectively tanky like that Mundo is, and the Morgana not having the aura items like the Braum has, is costing them a lot in these fights. So, didn't see that fight because of a pick, but in these straight up fights, like, in straight up 5v5s, like, raw stats are everything. Okay, please use Scrying Orb. Don't kill yourself. Don't face check red, man. I guess you're gonna Scry Baron, that's fine. Peppermint schnapps is really good too. Whale has a good taste
some
for
hot
liquor.
chocolate? Ooh.
No, it's fucking
So
disgusting. I'm not 8, I don't need chocolate. This shit's already so sugary too. Really good smite out of Rek'Sai. Did Elise get smite off?
Yeah. I didn't see it.
No, she didn't, because it didn't go in 15 seconds.
Oh, they're gonna decide to go in.
Oh, that's good out of Kate.
They probably would have been. Kate needs to be autoing. Stop.
No, she is autoing, man. It's late game Mundo.
There we go. Oh, Mundo's too,
So, good awareness out of Darius to recall there. And a good smite by Rek'Sai. Looking at summoners after the fight, Kate didn't use hers. The Morg didn't use hers either. So, some errors there. Dunk. Oh, he got the Q. So, not a great play out of Darius there. You know that they're going to end if you die. So, just don't go for style points. Just end the game.
Yeah. Tony, please. Thank you.
Alright, so we're going to see how much time we have. I may have to fight through this one. So let's see what we have. Alright, we actually have a little bit of time. So,
Yeah,
you guys will get invites for the next game a couple of minutes into this. It will be at twitch.tv/tforcepodcast2. It's the same URL as this, but with a 2. And as for every Battle Arena and Bronze Bootcamp game, we'll be going over things everybody can improve on and just kind of touching on general themes and trends we saw throughout the game. Once again, I'm going to continue to point this out until this changes. Stealth Ward's purchased. The Elise didn't buy a green ward all game. It looks like she went sweeper too, so that's pretty rough. And the Zed not buying one, even though it looks like he got upgraded totem, that means he didn't buy any greens before level 9. If I recall correctly, he had to blow flash around level 6 when he got ganked, and then he recalled. So when you're playing without flash, that's a really important time to ward.
Yeah.
But the other than that, like, could see more pinks out of Darius and just more wards in general, but it wasn't too terrible. We'll touch on some other stuff just to boredom. So, anything you saw out of Braum?
He wasn't as okay, I'm good. This is gonna sound dumb because I feel like I bring this up every time, but there's that famous Afromu YouTube clip of him saying support is so easy, just have presence in lane. And that, like, it's kind of hard to explain, but he didn't have any presence in lane. He was standing right next to Tristana, and she was getting the crap beat out of her for like the first 10 minutes of the game. And he really wasn't able to apply pressure to Caitlyn or Morgana, even though they were sometimes running into the middle of their minion wave. So I would say just need to work on having your presence lane. Try to be more of a threat. Even if you're taking damage, at least Tristana isn't. So, yeah, I would say work on your presence in lane, being a little bit more aggressive, and utilizing your shield more to block Caitlyn Qs also would help a lot, because she loved Qing all the time. Especially in lane, she would pull off that combo off whenever the opportunity came up. So you kind of need to recognize that her play style, a pattern, I guess, and be ready to help block that damage. But yeah, the biggest thing I thought was presence in lane. And I know Braum isn't the best in lane. He's pretty lackluster, but he can definitely help ease the pressure that Tristana felt there in the early game. Late game, I saw some pretty good ults, like directional wise. Like I thought picked the right people to target almost every single time. But yeah, that's kind of what stood out to me.
No, I generally agree as well. I bronze one of like the 10 champions in the game. I really don't know much about, so we'll leave it at that. I also didn't get to watch a lot of Braum that game. What do you think about Morgana?
She did okay. She was really focused on making sure, even though she did make sure she gets Sightstone and her support item first, she really wanted to build that Zhonya so that she could be the engaged tool of her team. It depends game to game if that's what your role is gonna be. But I usually tend to favor Morgana not being the engaged tool for a team. And Zhonya's is nice if you're ahead, but I'm not the biggest fan of Morgana, even though it can be very useful on her. But having another item like Mikhail's or Aegis or any other item, it would have helped her team as a whole more, I feel like.
Yeah, no, generally when you have a lot of engage in your team too, you need to recognize what your role is. And if you have 2 tanks and you have 2 carries, like, you're probably going to be peeling. So, really, you want some CDR in your build. You didn't have a lot of that. Just spam binds and black shields to get people off your carries. Want some auras to protect your carries. Mundo does a lot of magic damage, and you having that, like, let's say Kate's at 40 MR. And you get Locket and you put her at 60 MR, she's taking like 10 to 15% less magic damage. And you might not think that's a lot against Dr. Mundo. That is his W, that's his Cleaver, that's his Sunfire Cape. Thornmail is also magic damage, so Lock of the Iron Slayer helps with that. Just, it's a really big... Well, look at Mundo, look. 6k physical damage. He did the most magic damage in the game. He did more magic damage than your Orianna. So, I would buy Locket.
Yeah.
So, running down everyone else, Tristana played well in lane. I would say work on lasting a little bit. And think about when you're playing against shields, respect that you're playing against shields, and at least play around Orianna cooldown. And to lesser extent, Spell Shield Morgana, but especially Orianna shield cooldown. I saw you get baited and jumping a few times and not actually be able to finish people with damage. So, like, when you're playing against heals or shields or Shenel or just stuff like that, it's something you want to respect. Other than that, like, that and lasting was pretty much it. Zed, same thing. Like, some general lasting and some laning issues against Orianna.
Yeah. He did a pretty good job of pulling off some combos for damage in lane. But his decisions of when to go in, I feel like sometimes were a bit iffy. But
yeah, no, I agree, and I think that you can also go Hex Shrink or QSS here instead of Banshees. I think Banshee's kind of expensive, and I think QSS kind of would have done the same thing with Morgana Bind. But they're both good items, so it's not a huge deal. 1 second. Let's see. What did you think about Dr. Mundo?
He played pretty. It kind of set up nicely for him in the top lane. Like in the very beginning, he really didn't have to do much. Like Darius just pushed the wave into him, so he was just able to farm not even under tower, but in front of his tower safely. So he could decide when to choose to be aggressive, and if Darius ever went aggressive, he could just run 5 steps back and be okay. His item build, let me double check that. He was a presence in every single team fight. That teleport onto Dragon, that first teleport play he made was a bit questionable.
Last thing, like for this Mundo, no offense, if you'd hit these mid games with the items earlier, you would have been a force earlier. And your last thing in lane, you really, really struggled. Also, like, when you go into Flash Cleaver, just flash on top of them, and it's really hard to miss Cleaver. So, those are probably the 2 big things I saw. Respect when you don't have Flash in lane, too, and just freeze in front of your tower. But getting comfortable with lasting on Mundo is pretty important. And I didn't really see impactful teleports out of either top or a lot of them. And that's kind of like what top lane is in the meta right now. Or just not the meta, but the way the game plays out in TP versus TP. So at least you really need to build boots.
Oh.
As far as items go, not a huge fan of the build. It personally doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially the no boots. The vision control is lacking. There were no green wards, no boots. You got a really good early gank top, then you kind of lost a lot of pressure on the map. So
she did have a really good counter. I don't know if it was a counter gank bot, but she was able to save bot and get 2 kills out of it. That helped turn the tide a lot in bot lane right there. I know, but yeah, the item build is a little. I feel like if you're going for high health items, maybe buy Cinderhulk. Do people still buy Cinderhulk on Elise? Yeah.
Yeah, they're both fun.
They're both they're both great items. But if you go Runeglaive, she got Rylai's, so that does damage. But maybe Abyssal, maybe, I don't know.
Abyssal's not bad. Resists are strong on Elise. You can build a lot of things, but when I look at a build and I see 20% CDR and no boots and a lot of items that don't really work with each other, that's not doing it for me. So, switched over Orianna. Last thing, if you're playing Control Mage, I keep saying that, but if you're playing Control Mage, you'll notice that you finished your Zhonya's and you finished your Athenes, I believe, quite a while before the game ended. So yeah, you finished these items at about 21 minutes. And then you went 14 minutes without finishing an item. Most of that comes from poor last hitting. And if you have to sit like mid-game without items for a really, really long time, you can really start to struggle. So that's work on CS for Orianna. I don't know about Zhonya's first against Zed. If you do it, I would go 2 Doran's rings just to maintain some priority on the map. Not bad. I also don't really understand the Athenes here. I would have gone Morello's just to kind of get a power spike earlier because my top lane is struggling and my team needed magic damage. And the Athenes into Zed is kind of weird as well. But I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know. It's certainly not what I would have done.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, you don't... EQ is cool. I like EQ on Caitlyn. It's really fun, but you need to always know when you're doing it. You can't just EQ people randomly when Zed's like alive and has ultimate and could jump on you. So, like, biggest thing you need to think about when you E, zone with headshot in lane. And transition your lead in lane a little bit better. Also, when you're behind, you can't skip Last Whisper third against people with that much armor. Like, you didn't do a lot of damage in some of these team fights because of it, so...
Yeah.
I would say those are the 3 big things for you to work on. Touch on Morgana, Rek'Sai. Top lane wasn't a thing this game. You needed to tunnel like the crap out of bot and like ult there. You could have counter ganked this Lee so many times if you tunnel spot, but you just didn't like have good tunnel spot. So like that was the big thing. Early game, just come up with the root and gank it. If I was playing Rek'Sai in this game, I would have gone Gromp blue, camp red, and then I would have ganked top. And you would ask like, why would you gank top there? Because Darius is pushed. I would gank top because I know Lisa's gonna gank top and we win the 2v2. Yeah. So like, look for things like that. Darius, where do we start? Really need to practice last hitting. You really need to not queue the minion wave when Dr. Mundo's not there because you're pushing for no reason and you're likely to die. What else do we have? Itemization, you shouldn't be getting Hydra third when you're that far behind. You just want to be a damage soak in games like this. And it's fine to fall behind. Teleports, you really need to TP and do stuff on the map. Dragon fights, if you don't have TP and you know Dragon's coming up in a minute, you just need to walk there. You farming the lane isn't going to do anything if you can't put pressure on second tower. I think that's 4 or 5 tips. And 4 wards is coming on soon, so we will set up for the next game. It will be on twitch.tv/TForce Podcast 2, same URL as this one, but with a 2 at the end. And check it out. We will be back in a few minutes.